This video will show techniques for cutting and splitting wood. What you are seeing now is a video of a dead oak tree that I cut down a few weeks back. The method of doing this is to cut a V in the tree in the direction that you want the tree to fall. And then you will come back to the tree and you will cut into the tree just above the V on the opposite side of the tree, which should make the tree fall in the direction that you want. To ensure that this tree doesn't fall in any other direction, I'm using a tractor to lean it over in the direction I want. I plan on having a separate video showing this process. Alright, I cut down a tree the other day. I had a video of that. I'm going to show you what I do around the house to keep, it helps supplement the heat. We use a wood stove, so I like to cut a little wood, especially at night when it gets really cold, to keep the heat cost down burning the wood stove. So whenever you cut wood, make sure you got hearing protection and eye protection and a good chainsaw. Strongly recommend a good pair of gloves as well. Make sure that they're going to fit inside the wood stove, the different size wood stove. So I try to make sure that I cut them small enough so they'll fit. Another thing that you got to consider when you're cutting wood is always make sure you have a sharp chain. They're expensive, so when you buy one, what I typically do is I'll use a brand new chain on hardwood like locust, sometimes some of the oak. In the softer wood, I'll use my older chains that I've resharpened several times, you know, because there's not going to, when you sharpen it yourself, it's never going to be like it was when you buy it from the factory. So this one's been sharpened several times. It's not the sharpest one you could use, but for this type of wood, even though this is oak, it's not real hard. It's hard, but it isn't hard as like fresh oak. This was a tree that was dead that I cut down. So this chain seems to be doing okay so far. Now another thing, when you have a log in a Okay, I'm gonna finish cutting this up and then I'll show you what I use to split wood and some recommendations on that. I cut that wood up. Now I'm gonna show you what I use to split wood, and there's two different ways I can split wood with this log splitter here, which I used to split wood with an axe when I was younger, but as I got older my shoulders hurt, so I went to this. It's a lifesaver. I'll give you some recommendations on this as well, but I'll show you a couple ways that I use this log splitter to split wood. But I do wear a weight belt when I have it in this configuration because I have to pick up the logs, put them on it. This is a good configuration for if you have wood that's not that big, and you can pick it up easily. It works well because you don't have to keep your hand over top of it and move and stuff like that. But there are tricks to this one as well where there's some dangers. I'll show you. So I'll start it up first. Warming up. One thing you got to do is make sure that you lubricate the grease joint on this thing. There's multiple locations. Anything that moves obviously has to have grease to protect it. So I'll go ahead and show you. Right there. If you notice, that split the wood in 4 pieces, and I'll show you the tip later. But I specifically bought one that would split a log into 4 pieces instead of one blade that has a cross blade. It saves a lot of time if you have one and you're constantly just chopping up the same piece of wood. That's a little bit bigger than you want. I'll show you a trick that I use. Obviously you might not want to cut this into 4, right? So you have to hold it out. That's that configuration. I'm going to change it over to the next configuration and show you another way of doing it. But before I do that, I want to show you the tip. So as you can see here, see how it's got the blade here and the blade here? A lot of your log splitters only have this, and they don't have this. I finished splitting most of the wood in the other configuration. Now I want to show you when in the configuration where I call it the standing up configuration. This configuration is good for when you have really heavy logs that you don't want to pick up and hurt your back. So I'll demonstrate the process here with an oak and then with a locust to show you that even hardwood like a locust, it'll cut through like butter. 4-blade cutter, you can just set it up so that the edge of the one blade cuts right down the middle and you've got it 2 pieces. Okay. Okay, now I'll show you, I'm going to split locust, which is one of the hardest woods I know of that I burn. I typically burn locust at night and other types of wood during the day. So here's an example of locust. Okay, that's an example of the 2 configurations, the type of wood that I cut. I'll show you a few other things. So what we have here, this is the actual log splitter. I bought this North Star log splitter probably 15 years ago. I strongly recommend that you build something like this. Me and my son built this to keep your wood dry. It actually is not difficult to build at all. And I'll usually put locust on one side and oak on the other. I may build another one before next year as well. Who knows, maybe I'll show that on video. For those of you that live in an area where you might lose power a lot or you're not close to other people, there's 3 things that I would recommend that you have. 1 is a chainsaw, 2 is a wood stove, and 3 is a generator. And if you're older and you're burning wood in a wood stove, I would also recommend a log splitter. Hope you enjoyed the video.